Also, if you're not going to mention my huge cardigan, I'll mention it.
That is
My
an
huge
excellent.
cardigan.
I think that was all of the word vomiting at you. Apologies for doing that.
All right, there weren't that many words.
Good. How
Vomited
are
quite
we?
delicately. Very well, thank you. Try that again.
Are we feeling festive?
I'm feeling quite festive. This is my first attempt at decorating anything this year. As you can see, I've made a real effort in the last 5 minutes or so. And this weekend, oh, wait, no, it's Monday. I should probably do it before then. At some point, I'm going to decorate my house as well.
I managed to decorate mine at the weekend. I've decided my new favorite thing about Christmas is deciding anything can be a tradition slash using tradition to justify whatever I want.
What you got? What you got?
Well, no, I really fancied a Chinese, so I decided rather than just getting a Chinese, I declared
I think
that
that.
getting a Chinese after putting up the decorations is a new tradition.
Love that, actually.
Yeah, because now I get a Chinese and I've got at least one guaranteed excuse to get a Chinese every year. Not that I
Yeah.
need one.
No, but it's nice to have.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And it meant I
Oh,
didn't have to put up decorations and
perfect.
then cook dinner.
That's not a bad idea. I might nick that. If I do it on Friday, we had a takeaway planned anyway.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, I
um,
feel like I could make this catch on as a trend, the decoration Chinese.
I will certainly take very little persuading. And lovely listeners with your dear little legs, please write in on a carton from a Chinese takeaway.
Right in on a prawn cracker.
On a prawn cracker, much better. That would be very difficult, but we'll appreciate it all the more.
I like the challenge.
Yeah. All right. All right. I'll get back to you after you finished embossing your prawn crackers for the season.
Do you not emboss your prawn crackers, Francine? Jesus.
Listen.
I've been seeing tips on like how to be really smug at Christmas. It was a series I saw on TikTok.
Tell me.
Chutneys, obviously. So
Chutney,
many
smug
chutneys.
chutney. Yep.
Chutneys.
Smug chutney is a great character name, actually. Carry on.
The thing is, I've always thought I'm someone who could be quite smug about Christmas, but
I
this
think
list is
so.
making me realise that I'm nowhere near enough. Get your gifts professionally wrapped.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh yeah, no. Go to Kew Gardens and and make it a regular thing. Oh, we always do Christmas at Kew.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, I do quite like that. Not that I would actually go because I assume it's horribly crowded when they've got
Yeah.
all the lights and things, and
No, I
that sounds
wouldn't.
horrible.
Yeah. But
But I
find
like
out what it
the idea.
entails, and you can tell people you do.
Exactly.
Don't tell honest listeners.
Listeners, please join us in this mass conspiracy for me to convince people I go to Kew at Christmas
With chutney.
with chutney. Get a lazy Susan for the table. We don't pass plates. We just turn gently.
Well, I don't know about that, actually. How big is this Lazy Susan going to have to be? Because I feel like a smug Christmas must involve putting casserole dishes onto the table, onto the heat-proof mats.
I see. That's where I'm more at. I do
Yeah.
like to serve things kind of buffet style,
Yeah.
and I don't know if a lazy Susan contributes to that. But I am picturing the kind of giant multi-tiered lazy Susans they had at the Chinese we used to go to up north.
Quite a hard-working Susan.
Yeah, actually quite a diligent Susan, you'll find. Which brings us back to Hogswatch.
Oh, good. Okay. My news story for the soft open. Amazon's AI previously on fucking up massively.
Oh, the Fallout one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon pulls AI-powered Fallout recap after getting key story details wrong. And yeah, basically exactly how it sounds. Amazon Video decided to use an AI tool to pick out the key story elements of series one of Fallout and use it as like a promo preview for season
Yep.
two. And it got it wrong. And I'm bringing this up because I write the previously ons for this podcast, and that is one part of my job that I know is safe now. Because I know Joanna, you've been eyeing up the AI replacements.
Yes, that is absolutely something I've been doing. No, no, I've not been out
She
eyeing
tried
AI.
to recruit Clippy before this new gen came out.
I actually asked Clippy to make this podcast with me before I asked Francine. I'm back on Claire Obscure because they said when they reached 5 million copies, we've got DLC coming and it's going to be free. And they didn't announce any kind of release date. And then they shadow dropped the DLC while doing the acceptance speech for getting Game of the Year,
Nice.
which was an absolute delight.
Did I tell you about Repo? That's the other game I've been playing with friends.
Oh, no, you didn't. Sorry, I was thought you meant the Genetic Opera for a second there. I thought I've
No,
heard of that.
no. It's a game where it's a multiplayer game and you wander around weird haunted locations trying to get valuables into a trolley. and there are horrible, quite scary ghosts around. And I'm bad at explaining multiplayer games, but it's very, very funny to play with friends. And I kind of want to rope you and our other friend into playing with me because I think it would be just really very funny.
I'm
It's
down.
one of those ones, and this is like a secret ingredient to multiplayer games that I hadn't realized made everything so much funnier, which is the further away you get from someone in game, the quieter they are because the audio's through the thing. And
Right.
there's just something so funny about hearing somebody like go into the distance as they're being fucked up by a ghost.
Okay, that does sound really fun. We
Dreadful,
should definitely
dreadful
play
to say,
this.
but true. Peak was another one like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely give this a go at some point then. I'm very down for that. I'm quite careful with playing multiplayer games because unfortunately I have learned about myself that I am occasionally a bit controlling. Which is fine with like playing Valheim with just my partner because my partner has just accepted this facet of my personality. But I did, I can't remember, I don't think we've recorded since I did like a charity pub crawl quiz thing a couple of
No, I don't
weekends
think so.
ago. It was a thing where you're like in teams and you get given all these questions and you have to work out which order you go to the pubs and spot things along the way and take pictures and find things in the pubs. And I sort of ended up being arranged onto a team by someone else from this friendship group and then sat down with the team and then realised like I'm more competitive than I realised, and I'm definitely more competitive than anyone else in this group, and I've got the pen now and I've got the paper now. I became someone, Francine.
Oh, are you one of those people that argues?
Only occasionally,
Yeah,
if
no,
I
we
feel
can't
very
be on a
strongly
quiz to
about
kick
it.
team together unless it's like objectively wrong.
Oh yeah, the only time I've like fully argued, like I will die on this hill, argue, me and the team that had the correct answer that they
Yeah.
said wasn't correct, gave each other the point, was an incorrect food question.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm still kind of annoyed about that to this day.
What is it? Can you remember it?
It was which of the French mother sauces is based with egg yolks and clarified butter? And the answer is hollandaise.
Oh, I was going to get that.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I
but
was about to say bolognese, but close.
very close. Bolognese has more tomatoes than less egg yolks,
And it's Italian.
and it's Italian. But apart from that, really close.
Thank you.
But the answer they gave was béarnaise, and béarnaise is a derivative of hollandaise with other things added to it.
Oh,
I'm still
fools.
annoyed. It's been a long time. I'm still
See,
quite
again,
sulky
I
about this.
don't think you're wrong for arguing that. It's just personally, I just go beet red.
Yeah, that's fine. I promise if you and I ever do a quiz together, I will not argue unless it's something really stupid.
Okay, okay.
Like
okay.
that.
Also, I could probably get behind you arguing something, to be fair.
You tell me to be more
I'll be the one
confident in
leaning
my
from the side.
opinions.
Yeah.
You told me to defend my opinions more. It's all I'm doing.
Well, yeah, but it's not opinions in a quiz, is it? You're just right.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
feel like I should defend that.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I promise to be less obnoxious on the podcast today. Not obnoxious, just
Okay. I'm not. I'm now scanning the plan, desperately hoping for nothing that we can argue about.
gonna throw in some controversy for
It's
shits and
Hogswatch,
giggles.
Joanna. What?
Fine.
I'm, I'm, I would love to hear you come up with like a bunch of controversial opinions that A, won't make you look like a wanker, and B, I won't just go, yeah, actually, and make us both look like wankers. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I can't think of anything now.
Especially as we're talking about two books written by friends.
That we both really like.
Soon to be ex-friends of the podcast.
All right, we'll do a controversial Christmas opinion before we get into talking about our friends' books. Mince pies
Okay.
are bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there we go. That's my
Well,
controversial
yeah,
Christmas
I actually
opinion.
don't disagree with that, unfortunately.
There. Well, that's the best.
Do you
I
like
could
a
come
mince
up with.
pie?
I can't stand mince pies.
Every year I smell them and I'm like, oh, that smells amazing. And I have a bite and I'm like, I don't really like mince pies, which is A, controversial, and B, food waste, which is almost universally panned as a concept. So there we go.
Yep. Well, I'm glad we've got our awful people credentials established. On that festive note, do you want to make a podcast?
Yeah, let's make a podcast quickly before it goes much worse.
Hello and welcome to The Truth Shall Make You Fret, a podcast in which we were reading and recapping every book in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, and now we're wandering around the corridors of speculative fiction. I'm Joanna Hagan,
I'm Francine Carrel.
and today is our Hogswatch Extravaganza.
Huzzah!
It's back again, another year gone, another Hogswatch on the nearby horizon.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. We can
Something like that.
hear, if you listen carefully, the glinkle of bells and the snorts, grunts, and alarming trotting of several
I hope not. That's not
oversized
meant to happen
boars.
until later. I mean, anyway,
Yeah, but
what we
right on the horizon, right,
oh,
you know.
right on the horizon.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about two wonderful books. It's the Friends of the Pod Christmas Book Special.
It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Two excellent friends of the pod have brought out festive books. So first up, we're going to
Very
talk
good of them.
about C.K. McDonnell's latest entry into the Stranger Times series, Ring the Bells. And then later on, we're going to be joined by a very special guest, three guesses who, to talk about Mistletoe and Vinyl, The History of the Christmas #1 by Marc Burrows.
Very blurred edition you've got there, Joanna.
Yes, well, you've got the good webcam.
I turned
off.
off the portrait mode.
Oh, yeah, that's probably better.
Well, 'cause it was ruining my really carefully hung Christmas light.
Yeah, so, spoiler warning quickly before we crack on. As far as Ring the Bells go, we're not going to do any major spoilers for this or any of the books in the Stranger Times series, so you can go and check them out. Why haven't you done that already, though? Come on, guys.
I feel like we told you this in 2022.
2023.
Oh, fine.
But right at the beginning, so
Yeah.
almost 2022. And I guess no spoilers for Mistletoe and Vinyl, The History of the Christmas #1. I'm not sure what the deal is with spoiling non-fiction books.
I think maybe as long as we don't accurately predict this year's Christmas #1 and allow Mark to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That should be fine. Sorry, our special surprise.
Our special mystery guest coming on to talk about Marc Burrows' new book.
Yeah. Amazingly, it's Kylie.
But she's going to be upside down because she's calling in from Australia.
That's how that works. That's why the Pratt chat one was so hard to edit.
Yeah, no, that took a lot of time. Right, so yeah, starting then with Ring the Bells by C.K. McDonnell. So as we've mentioned, the lovely Queeve McDonnell, who we've decided is friend of the podcast, we've had a drink with him once, so it counts, came on the podcast back in February 2023. And that was when the third book in the Stranger Times series came out. Queeve is the author of many excellent books, as well as the wonderful urban fantasy mystery, quite funny Stranger Times. There is the 14
Very funny.
Yep, there's the 14-ish long Bunny McGarry trilogy.
14, is it?
I'm not sure. A quick skim of the website, and I think I ended up with 14.
Wowie.
Spin-offs and short stories and all sorts.
Prolific author.
Excellent, prolific author. Who has also drawn some quite fair comparisons to Terry Pratchett, which is how we ended up on the podcast in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
And today, yeah, we're talking about Ring the Bells, which is the 5th book in the Stranger Times series. It's a Christmas special.
It is a Christmas special, and you don't get those very often.
No,
So really, it would have been silly of us not to jump on the opportunity.
I'll be very rude about it. But as I already said, spoiler-free, so you, dear listener, can come on this journey with us.
Yeah, I haven't got one of those ready. Through the mean streets of Manchester.
So opening snapshot then. Do you like it?
Yes, very much. It is one of the few. Well, Queeve is. We should say C.K. McDonnell's probably what you want to be googling, by the way, to find these books. But Queeve is one of the few authors who does make me properly laugh out loud. So
Very much so.
I hugely value that in a book, and
It was difficult fighting the urge to text all of the funny lines to you as I was reading it because I knew we were going to talk about the book.
yeah.
There's a lot of great one-liners though, and spoilers, listeners, but in a minute we'll talk about some of our favourite lines because
Yes.
I've got a few. I managed to narrow the list down a little bit. I quite like, because I really like this series, but it's not one that I've started picking up and rereading once a year, which doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not quite made it to my must-comfort reread pantheon yet. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it will eventually. But that means every time I pick up a Stranger Times book, I get to be like re-delighted about how really good they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is handy actually that it starts with a little recap, somewhat
Yes.
more effective than Amazon AI ones.
Yeah, no, these are quite good previously ons.
Yeah, yeah. Quite poetic even. But yeah, no, it's good. I love the concept anyway. I'm sure I can barely remember the 2023 episode we did on this, by the way.
That was an
For a
interview
multitude
with,
of reasons,
yeah.
but
That was an interview with Queeve, so I think we talked less about how much we like the books, apart from starting off with we really like the
general
books.
fangirling, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, huge fan of the concept in general. It's based in the offices of a Fortean Times like publication, except in this universe, quite a lot of the
Strange things are real.
yes. It's got some wonderful what's the word, relics of the print age still still stuck in there. Yeah, personally, I love this stuff partly because my first few jobs were print magazines, and
Yep.
there is just a certain je ne sais quoi about watching somebody else suffer through the deadline process, even if I never or rarely had to deal with supernatural delays,
We
as
won't
far as
talk
I
about
know.
that time at the Jeep magazine. Sorry, Land Rover.
Do we do the blurb for this one?
I think we can do the blurb for this one. That's not spoilery.
I'll leave that to you as you've got the physical copy.
Which is it's a bit of a hefty book as well. You're getting value for money with this one.
Yeah.
And doubles as a weapon. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Now, for most people, that means a time of celebration, relaxation, and inebriation. I didn't practice this, but not for the staff of the Stranger Times. While a book club meeting ending in a triple murder isn't unprecedented, it is at least noteworthy. It quickly emerges that this is no ordinary book club triple murder either, as it seems to involve a librarian possessed by a chaotic entity who has broken through from another dimension and is hell-bent on vengeance. Said entity has made a not-so-little list, but he's not checking it twice, as the whole of humanity is on it. Who would want to summon such a thing? And importantly, how is anyone going to be able to send it back? As if that wasn't enough to be dealing with, there's a shocking revelation about a member of the Stranger Times team's past. It will bring family together, which is, of course, part of what Christmas is all about, but not in a way that stands a chance of making it into a Hallmark movie. And what with demonically possessed Santas, bloodthirsty books, and the ghost of a legendary nightclub, it's beginning to look a lot like a Christmas apocalypse for the Stranger Times.
I'd watch this Hallmark movie.
I would 100% watch this Hallmark movie. So do you like the idea of like an ongoing book series doing a Christmas special?
Yes, I think so. I think a Christmas special is a pretty good excuse to shake everything up a bit, like a snow globe, I suppose.
Oh, a
If you want
delightful
to be
image, Francine.
terribly twee with it. But no, because you're kind of shoving people out of the normal routine anyway. It's a good excuse to, well, quite often just get your characters drunk or at an awkward party or whatever. Although in this
Crammed
case,
around a table.
yeah, in this case, because we're working like in a print publication, the kind of, premise of the first bit is we're stuck here till deadline.
Again,
Yeah,
enjoyable to read.
absolutely. Yeah, no, love it. How about you?
I really love
is
it.
it something that comes up?
What do you mean?
Like, is this the only one we can think of?
I can't think of tons of them. It's not like a very commonplace thing, I think.
No.
But I was thinking about this very much in relation to TV, because I know like Queeve originally envisioned this series as a TV series. And
Yes.
as he mentioned in our lovely little chat with him, we'll link to that down below as well.
I'm going like this, like I'm going to put a link above, like in the old style YouTube videos. I'm not.
And he wrote for TV as well before writing lovely novels. I'm assuming there was some overlap. And I'm a massive sucker for TV show Christmas specials for the same reason. Like, you get to put people in a weird situation, even if it is just shoving them all in a room together when they normally wouldn't be, or shoving drinks in their hands when they never would normally be having a drink.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a bottleneck episode, despite the fact I now know that's not what it's called. Bottle episode?
Bottle episode.
Just a bottle episode. There we go. Yeah.
There is also a good opportunity to do bottle episodes, like famously. Obviously, I relate everything to sitcoms because it's what I do. Like Friends used to use the Thanksgiving episodes to do bottle episodes and shove everyone in one room, and that would normally be like a money-saving episode for them.
Yeah.
And then they started doing silly things. But yeah, so holiday specials, always fun. But I think of like TV Christmas specials as a very British thing as well, because you have a lot of like the sitcoms coming back for a one-off Christmas special.
A different flavour. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not part of an ongoing narrative. It's coming back for 1 year, having maybe been off air for a couple of years. So like Gavin and Stacey, which admittedly I've not watched, or I've not watched the Christmas specials because I don't really like Gavin and Stacey.
Well, that's you can't have good taste in everything. I love the Christmas specials, so very
That's
good.
fair. These are my controversial opinions for the day.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, no, I think the British Christmas special is quite quite a different flavour, and it's not generally as earnest, which is quite nice. Or there's generally an earnest moment, isn't there? But it's not.
There'll be one hot one. Like, I used to really love My Family, and I always really loved the Christmas episodes of that one.
Yeah.
Ghosts did its finale as a Christmas special and made me cry, the bastards.
That's another thing. I will get like appropriately sentimental if you give me a Christmas special.
Oh yeah, it's very easy for a Christmas special to make me weepy.
Yeah.
This book managed it.
Yes, this book managed it several times. Thank you, Queeve. Though not necessarily for festive reasons.
At least one of them was kind of festive.
Yeah. But it's not like the classic, starting to cry because they're all standing around a piano singing Silent Night. Like the I say this I said it a bit dismissively, like the Americans go a bit sentimental with it. I'm a sucker for it.
Oh yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
a different flavour. you get me a bunch of loved sitcom characters singing Silent Night around a piano. I'm so like, oh, it is silent.
Also, one of my weird favourite things about American TV Christmas specials, and this is hyper-specific, but we're going to talk about Christmas music later, obviously. You will always hear the Waitress's song, Christmas Wrapping, at some point in the background of those episodes. And it's one of my favourite Christmas songs. And it's always, I'm watching Gilmore Girls at the moment because I'm off work for Christmas, and so I wanted to watch something that I don't have to write about. And that's the easiest, gentle, goes into my brain. And yeah, Christmas episode, the Waitress's in the background.
Yeah. Is it it's in Bridget Jones, isn't it? Definitely,
yes, it is.
that song. Yeah. I had the Bridget Jones soundtrack on the other day because it just seemed like a good pre-made playlist.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. It was a good transition into Christmas playlists, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I want to watch Bridget Jones again.
Yeah. Anyway, fuck. Right. Let's go a bit more specific. Within speculative fiction.
Yes.
How about Christmas within that?
I just want more Christmas specials in every genre.
Yeah.
But especially speculative fiction in fantasy and in sci-fi, because you take one of these very traditional trappings. So there is some kind of guy in a red suit with a white beard. There is probably gathering around a piano and singing. There is gifts. There is feasting. And then you can do really weird stuff with it.
Yeah.
There's a major plot point I won't spoil in this book, but when I spotted that was going to happen, I had a proper sort of joyful grin. Of course that's going to happen. That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to happen in this kind of flavour of Christmas story.
Yeah. And this story actually, within the first few pages, so definitely not spoilery, we get the framing and like here is the momentum of the narrative.
Yes, the momentum of the events.
Yeah. Which we of course have seen in Hogfather.
Yes.
And yeah, no, you're right, because the template almost of solstice celebrations is, massively transcends just what we now think of as modern Christmas, and so you can kind of imprint it on whatever you want.
Yeah, you can have this idea that Pratchett does with Hogfather, celebrating coming out of the dark.
Yeah.
And it's why, you want to say sci-fi Christmas specials. The Doctor Who Christmas special every year is a very British tradition.
Obviously. It was me trying to think about X-Files. Doctor Who's right there.
Doctor Who's
waving
right there.
a screwdriver in your face.
And we did check, there is a Rivers of London, Christmas novella or short story.
Although C.K. McDonnell has outdone it by doing a full-size novel.
Yeah, and I want more authors to do this.
Take that, Ben.
Not sure we need to put them in competition, but just in case, Queeve has one.
Yeah, fight, blood on the snow, all that.
Yay!
Blood on the snow. Very bloodthirsty around Christmas, we get.
It's just, I feel like there's so much you can do with it, and it's great because you have a framework that the reader's already so familiar with.
Yeah.
It takes very little to establish. Like, The Hogfather is a festive novel. If you haven't seen the cover and you dive into it, it's a Christmas book from the first 3 pages.
Yeah. Because weirdly, you can just hear the sleigh bells.
Yeah, no, they actually just start playing when you open the book.
Yeah. And then within, this sub-genre of particularly, urban fantasy, and then particularly British urban fantasy, you also get the, we don't even have to go too weird with the template. We know this Christmas.
we know exactly what this Christmas. We know what that office party is like.
Yeah, we know what the office party is like. We know what the streets are like. As C.K. McDonald's like explaining the background sound effects of vomiting.
Yeah, we know what the horrible pubs are like.
Yeah, yes. I'm reading it and going, do you know what? I kind of miss this, but at the same time, I'm so glad I don't do this anymore. But like, I know it beat for beat.
And that's nice because I think you can do so much more weirdness when you've already got such a familiar background. And like with Christmas, it's kind of done for you. So even though the book is, you know, you heard the blurb, there's a lot going on. It still comes with this little bit of nostalgia of, oh yeah, I listened to that at Christmas.
Yeah, no, actually, it's a good point. Because it's one of the great things about like the genre, isn't it? Like urban fantasy, realistic fantasy, whatever you want to call it. Probably not realistic fantasy. But it's very funny.
It's also, it's just a hilarious book.
Yeah.
There are some very, very good mental images. There's a particular good one involving a cow.
Yes.
I will say also, like, there are some horrifying mental images. It's,
no, some real fucking, oh my God, that's not leaving my brain stuff.
Yeah. It's a tough read in places. Like, I'm thinking about the fact...
but like in a good way.
And, no, it's a really good read. But it's like I'm thinking about the adaptability of it, and I think like the Stranger Times series as a whole is very adaptable. You can tell it's coming from someone who's worked in television.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you'd maybe have to be careful with a few scenes at least.
You definitely want a content warning on it.
Yeah. But
the thing is, it's so impactful largely because of that, and I think that's where I would struggle to do the adapting bit because I wouldn't know where to soften the edges to make it TVable.
Yeah. But then also, you know, people are happy to watch the Stranger Things binge drop around Christmas, and that's quite dark and gory.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's space for it.
You might need to, actually, it's a good point. Stranger Things might have ruined the obvious branding of this.
I feel like you can differentiate the branding enough.
Yeah. Just trips off.
Not my job to adapt it. I'm just going to write some letters to the BBC and hope they do it.
Probably get CK's permission, eh?
Yeah, all right, fine. I'll ask a few lines. Sorry,
go on.
I was just going to say, speaking of terrible British Christmas traditions.
Well, exactly, yeah. One of the subplots within this involves what is a terrible winter wonderland, like the cut price budget shit version of the lovely winter wonderland thing you'd get in Gilmore Girls, probably. I don't know. And I just thought I'd highlight that as one of the great British traditions, which is every year you get at least a few news stories talking about just a really dreadfully put together seasonal pop-up event. And it's one of my favourite things to read every year.
Santa was crap. The reindeer were not reindeer.
Yeah.
And it's miserable and grey and...
Yeah. Highlight here I've got New Forest, Santa's fucking dead. So this is from an article from 2014. And honestly, I don't even care it's over a decade old. This is how timeless this genre of news story is. And it was highlighting some even older ones. But I might find just an entire list of these just to put...
We had a local one, I think like last year or the year before. We had a local one that children were leaving crying because it was so bad.
Oh, so good. But yeah, very bad. Children crying, sad.
But also hilarious to read about.
So funny. But yeah, so I'll just read this last one. The accolade for worst winter wonderland catastrophe is still held by the short-lived Lapland New Forest experience at Matcham's Leisure Park in 2008. Advertisements promised a place where dreams really do come true, with an ice rink and a nativity scene, but the ice rink was broken. The nativity scene was painted on a billboard in a muddy field. One Santa and several elves were attacked by angry parents. Two dads brawled in the gingerbread house, and one snowman received so much verbal abuse he stormed off in full costume, reported The Sun. Trading Standards received more than 2,000 complaints, and the RSPCA launched an investigation, that's not quite as funny, about the husky dogs and reindeers. The attraction closed down after 6 days, and families who turned up with prepaid tickets were told by one helper, Santa's fucking dead. And that really does sum up the genre, I think.
It does.
The real life genre. But we got like a new flavour this year, didn't we? Like, not Christmas.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like he took quite a lot of inspiration from the whole Wonkaland situation.
Oh, do you reckon?
I was trying to work out when he might have written this, because it's quite good. I like reading contemporary things because I don't a lot. I read so much fantasy, and everything is set in a different world or 500 years ago, or so it's very funny getting the actual very contemporary jokes, and the depictions of the terrible winter wonderland in this do sound very Wonkaland.
Oh yeah, but I feel like Wonkaland was just a derivative of these decades-old news stories.
Oh yeah, true. I don't think it was entirely from that, but I wonder if there was a bit of specific
Possibly so.
bits
Possibly
and
so.
pieces to borrow.
Couldn't have hurt.
But Wonkaland, yeah, was just an example of how to take
Yeah.
the terrible British Christmas Wonderland experience and make it unseasonal.
Truly an innovator in what we thought was a sewn-up field.
Yeah,
And for that, we applaud them.
very much so.
I never actually followed up what happened to those guys.
They ran away.
They probably popped back up
Very
again in Milton
quickly.
Keynes now, haven't they? With fucking
They probably got a Winter
AI
Wonderland
reindeer.
on. Oh
Rudolph
god.
the AI reindeer. Right, there's a parody song there. We're getting on that. Not right now.
It had a very shiny 8 noses for some reason.
Oh dear. All right. We're closing in on the end of the first half, so we better get down to your huge short list of favourite lines.
It's
Joanna,
not
the can't edit things.
It's not that long. I picked 3 and they're all really short. The first one, he was sitting with a bemused look on his face, like a pastry chef who'd mistakenly walked into a lecture on astrophysics.
Beautiful.
Possibly
we
the
love
best.
the studying metaphors. Oh, well done.
Yep, studying
Similes.
simile. Yes,
Simile is a subgenre of metaphor, so it's okay.
yes. But speaking as someone who's quite good at baking and scared of physics, that line reached down into my soul quite deeply. Next one. Did you hire a magician? Asked Claremont. No. I think if you have enough people, they just turn up.
Now, is that true?
Yes. Well, no, what happens is they're actually around you all of the time. It's just when the gathering reaches a certain mass, they start doing the tricks.
Oh, no, like a eternal flash mob.
Yeah, basically.
Ugh.
They're actually, you never know, you could be near a stand-up magician right now.
Oh, God.
Not stand-up magician, close-up magician. And the last one, Ox was definitely awake. It was just that reality had jumped the shark. There was a T-Rex involved.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've gone for actually more on the metaphors. Professor Richard Winkleworth commented, I know what you're thinking. How can a metaphor explode? We have literally no bloody idea, but I'll tell you now, it's not a good sign, is it? I mean, is it? We don't know, but I'm stocking up on canned goods regardless. I will be giving no further context.
That is also my favourite thing about having a spoiler-free discussion about something, is saying some things without context. I think it's more fun.
Not only can we not be bothered to give context, we're not allowed, actually.
It is possible at some point we'll come back and do a deeper, with spoilers, revisit of Stranger
Well, I do
Times.
want to, yeah. I'd like to do that.
I think that's quite likely. Do you have any other thoughts about this book? I mean, if we go general, we could be here a minute.
Oh, right, yeah, no. I mean, really, we've kind of covered it. It's just, I'm really impressed by what an emotional roller coaster it is. It goes from very, very funny to genuinely very upsetting within only a couple of pages, kind of easing you out from one to the other.
Yeah.
So it's not even like a roller coaster. It's like one of those fairground rides that kind of goes up and down.
But it's so well written, you don't get the horrible emotional whiplash.
Oh, no, I did. Yeah. But that's fine. Okay. That's within the book. That's
there
the
is quite a
point.
lot of...
If you don't get the emotional whiplash, then what are you paying the dodgy fairground for, as it were? Not to call it a dodgy fairground, please, sorry, but you know.
Ah, yes, the dodgy fairground of rides. It's maybe not going to take that one for a cover quote.
Well.
One thing I forgot to mention, there's an opening closing like storyteller structure that I really adored, and it felt very Christmassy. Yeah. And the other thing, again, without spoilers, power of belief is really present here. And you know how I feel about power of belief, Francine.
We've got the power of belief, we've got momentum of the story, we've got all of the things we love. It's wrapped up in a Christmas bow, and I sound all sarcastic, but I'm not. It's a very good book. And I'm just talking about I'm talking in this voice because it's the crushing inevitability of the universal storytelling wonders that I always fucking love. So there. So there.
I'm going to use the power of belief to squeeze in one more quote as well, which is He had found belief. He just needed to figure out how to get it. He needed to become the one known as Taylor Swift.
Oh.
So, if we haven't made it clear already, dear listeners, go and buy Ring the Bells by C.K. McDonnell. It's out now, and if you've not read the other 4 Stranger Times books, go and get those too. Or put it on your list for the Hogfather.
I expect you can buy them as a box set as some kind of festive gift.
That would make an excellent festive gift.
It would make a good festive gift, wouldn't it, Joanna?
And remember,
I don't know why I'm saying
listeners,
festive gift like I'm BBC-ing Christmas. Other festive celebrations are available.
Remember, dear listeners, that it is possible to purchase yourself festive gifts, such as a 5-book box set of C.K. McDonnell's Stranger Times season.
I don't know, I've been getting over a cold and I thought it had gone. I think it hasn't.
Stick a cinnamon stick in your lemsip. It'll be lovely and festive.
Oh, God, that seems somehow like it's going to be poisonous, doesn't it, though?
It does sound actually quite dangerous.
Yeah, it's like it'd be mixed cleaning fluids, you know? Or it might burn like sodium. I don't know.
Ooh, a nice mulled lemsip.
I just feel like it's going to go up like a flare if I add cinnamon to the lemsip. And in fact, I'm going to imagine it will and never try it out. I'm just going to tell people that's what happens.
The problem is, I'm really curious now. I want to know what happens when you mull lemsip.
Well, actually, I'll tell you exactly what happens if you put a cinnamon stick into your lemsip. It burns magenta like lithium. Does lithium do magenta, or is that one of the other ones? No,
Do you really think I know the answer to that?
Potassium,
Francine?
maybe.
Potassium? No, potassium burns white. No, that's magnesium. It's been a long time since GCSE chemistry.
Like if I sing that in my head, Tom Lehrer is going to tell me what colour they burn.
He might.
He might. It will be entirely made up by me, though.
Ghost of Tom Lehrer past appearing on the podcast.
So we've had worse things appear on the podcast.
I was going to say, we can only hope, to be honest. It might save us.
Be honest, would we bump Marc Burrows if Tom Lehrer turned up right now?
100%, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Mark,
sorry, Mark.
Pieces, but the ghost of Tom Lehrer turns up. We're going to interview the ghost of Tom Lehrer.
Yeah, afraid so. Speaking of, actually, not of Tom Lehrer, unfortunately, but of Mark, as we've got a few minutes before he arrives, do you want to go and make another mulled wine?
Yes, I'll go.
As we've got a second.
Wine.
Yes. Okay, right.
We'll be back.
So you see, I'm going to enjoy my non-mulled lemsip like a pleb. Oh. Well, listeners, here we are again for the 5th or 6th Hogswatch in a row. And I'm sorry I'm not looking as festive. Well, maybe I look as festive, sounding as festive as normal, but it's a school night and I've got a lemsip on the go. But you can see that I've made an effort with the lights. And oh my God, not again. Are those glingle bells in the distance while Joanna is downstairs making mulled wine? Hogfather.
Merry Hogswatch, Francine.
I'm starting to feel like you're doing this on purpose.
I'm doing what on purpose, Francine? I've just come to wish you and Joanna a merry Have I missed Joanna again?
You've missed Joanna again, Hogfather, for the sixth time in a row.
Would I do that? I've forgotten how to do the voice. Would I do that on purpose?
You certainly would not. I'm sorry to even suggest it. It's been a long evening. It's been a long year.
It's been a long year, Francine, but soon it'll be over. It'll be coming out.
That sounds like you're about to put a pillow over my face. Good grief.
Merry Hogswatch.
Shh, shh. Quiet now. Merry Hogswatch. How's your bit?
It's been a delight, Francine. I've been hibernating until I go out once a year.
Is that how that works?
Very much so, I'm sure. Have you been a good being this year, Francine?
Do you know what? I've been all right, actually, yeah.
Excellent. And what would you like for Hogswatch?
For Hogswatch, I would like a really big tray of stuffing and gravy with maybe some Yorkshire puddings, if I've been very good.
Excellent, Francine. And you shall have a large tray of stuffing and gravy and maybe even some Yorkshire puddings.
It's very good of you to come around to the vegetarian option.
I can make a half-decent I can have an elf make a half-decent vegetarian.
Thank you, yeah. No, I appreciate you wouldn't want to dirty your hands for that kind of thing, really.
Absolutely not. Now, we've got some letters, Francine.
Oh, have we? Oh, marvellous. I'm glad you got them.
some of your dear geeple, as I believe they're known.
Yes, although the way you say it makes it sound a bit like a slur, but yes.
They've sent us some letters.
Good.
Now, first of all, hello, Miss Red Rat. Miss Red Rat has offered to leave some absolutely delightful treats that I absolutely won't say no to, including a mug of whiskey.
Ooh,
and
mug of whiskey, like that.
Has warned us that the whistling noise is fine. It's just the very proud quails. Very happy for the quails, Miss Red Rat. And a portal to the Discworld is coming any day now, we promise.
Oh, good grief. Remember to get your adventure bag properly ready.
Jeff.
Frying pan.
Jeff, off of Discord.
Jeff, off of Discord. Hello,
off
Jeff.
of Discord. Would like to know as in the Hogfather, because that is me, my favourite book. And I think the answer should be very obvious, Francine. What do you think my favourite book is?
Is it the Hogfather?
No, I mean, that one's quite good, but obviously my favourite book is American Teen Dramas from Sunnydale to Riverdale by Joanna Hagan, available now from all good retailers.
I'm so glad you got your copy, because sometimes the postage to the, oh Christ, where do you live? The Hub? Yeah, but it's on the Hub. It's not the North Pole, is it?
It's
right.
Hubwards-ish.
Yeah, Hubwards. In the Bone Palace, sometimes the postage to the Bone Palace is slow. I'll put it that way. The ships keep getting stuck, and the ice. I suppose nowadays Moist Bond that Vig's sorted out those golem.
He's done his good work, and Joanna, who despite apparently avoiding me, was still nice enough to sign one.
In Joanna's defence, she is mulling at the moment.
Oh, that's an important task, actually.
Yeah. That is proper Hogswatch activity.
That is a Hogswatch activity, I'll allow it. Karen has written via electronic albatross. Marvellous technology we've got these days. Karen would like hair ties, and wouldn't we fucking all? And,
wow.
They just disappear.
I know I had a good day for that today, actually. I found 3 instead of losing any. It is a Hogswatch miracle.
It is a miracle. Maybe I had something to do with it.
Oh, thank you,
never know. Karen would also like for all insufferably stupid (brackets on purpose) (brackets people) to have one wet sock at all times, even when they're not wearing socks.
Oh.
And Karen, that's a good wish. I'll grant that wish. Single damp.
So just like the like a phantom sock.
Phantom damp sock.
Ooh,
which is also the name of my first album. Craig would like again to have world peace and happiness, which.
Yeah, Craig does keep asking for this, Hogfather,
and Craig has been.
And he's been very good.
He has, even by his own precision measurements, he says he has been very good this year and has read some books even by splendid authors. But you can't just be wishing for peace and happiness. It's got to be selfish, Craig. Come on.
Look at this. Look at the set of his skull. This Hogfather has no need for charitable wishes.
Exactly. You shall have a Satsuma, Craig.
Oh, well, that's something. No scurvy for Craig.
Well, quite. And Dennis, aged 41 years and 11 months, has written, he has been an adequate boy, which is acceptable. And would like Lego to finally create a Discworld set, specifically a several thousand piece recreation of the disc riding atop the elephants and turtle.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
And that's fine. That's what I want to, Dennis. Yeah. Me, the Hogfather, that I am. However,
yeah, I mean, you've got most of the year to build Lego, haven't you? So
exactly. However, while I can offer gifts of Lego, they will come with the knowledge that at some point you're going to step on it. There are some miracles even the Hogfather cannot achieve.
That's just narrativium.
And lastly, the wonderful PD, mod extraordinaire, has had an exciting year of theatricality and writing and delights.
He hasn't all.
He has. And has sent wishes to all of the lovely Geeple as well. Merry
just
Hogswatch.
Wishes.
To all the joyous Geeple. And our dear little co-hosts, despite their legs becoming so multitudinous of late that they're bordering on the eldritch.
Oh, gosh.
Multitudinous is quite
a hard
word to say.
You can't see it from the waist
down. The waist down. I mean, Joanna and Francine.
Our extra legs are none of your business.
PD is neglected.
Off to the side. That's just the carcinization thing, isn't it? The crab. Eventually, all podcast hosts do grow extra legs, and chitinous scuttling must occur.
PD has neglected to ask for anything, the silly chap. Don't you know that you're supposed to demand things this time of year? So PD should be getting good vibes, delightful amounts of gaming time, and also a Satsuma. Those are all of the letters. And Joanna seems to appear to still be mulling, so I think, unfortunately, the pigs are getting restless. I'm going to have to miss her once again. I'm afraid.
See if you can swing by later, maybe, because we've got another guest coming.
Another guest?
I know, and it's a shame that it's only me who gets to enjoy your wonderful company every year.
Sadly for now. Hogswatch blessings to all, but I must be off. The pigs are reckless. But maybe, just maybe.
The pigs are reckless, are they?
Reckless and restless.
Good grief. I do love the Glingle bells. Do you know what? I told Joanna I'd try and find some rattling chains for a later bit, and I didn't even try, because it's one of those things I feel like you have or you don't. And I just don't think I've got heavy rattling chains in the garage.
Right. I am mould. Did I miss anything?
No. Can't remember. Really good lemon sip, this. I added that cinnamon stick. Hello and welcome back to The Truth Shall Make You Fret. And for the second part of our Hogswatch Extravaganza, we've got a very special guest. As somewhat foreshadowed earlier, we have very good friend of the podcast, Marc Burrows, on. As you should all very clearly remember, Marc Burrows is a music critic. He is an author, most notably in our case, of The Magic of Terry Pratchett. He is a comedian and a musician and all these things. And for our purposes today, a lot of those things have coincided in his new book, The Story of the Christmas #1, Mistletoe and Vinyl. Hello, Marc.
Hello. I like to think I'm a very special guest in the same way that something can be a very special episode.
Yes, and we will be offering counselling to everybody following.
If you've been affected by any of the issues.
I'm nothing more but a conduit for people's trauma, an exploration of a big issue of the day.
I've always wondered why you had that on the business cards, but yeah.
I read all about very special episodes in this excellent book, American Teen Dramas by Joanna Hagan, which has got this incredible cover by Francine Carrel.
You reversed us.
We're supposed to be promoting you, but thank you. Speaking of trauma, Christmas.
Yeah, welcome to the pod, Marc.
Let's see, Christmas is never trauma for me. I genuinely love Christmas. I am famous for really loving Christmas. It's kind of my thing, and I don't know why that is. I've just always been a Christmas guy. I really like the music, the films, everything. I have to be really careful. I have to ration it really specifically, otherwise I get to make sure that it just maintains its magic. Otherwise, because I can't go Christmas till December the 1st, but then once it gets to December 1st, I go hard and I go heavy.
Kind of revs up before that.
Yeah, exactly. I am at my peak at this time, which is good because I've just written a book about Christmas, and thus, which can only thus be promoted in December without annoying people, and that means all of the promotion for the book has been squeezed into like 2.5 weeks, and I have barely slept since the month began.
But in a festive way.
Kept going by festive further.
Yeah, basically festive further and further and further and further.
Very nice. So, beyond the subtitle of The Story of the Christmas #1, could you explain Mistletoe and Vinyl to us?
I can. Well, I mean, actually, the original title was going to be Tinsel and Fire: The Story of the Christmas #1.
Yes,
Tinsel and Fire being from the lyrics to I Believe in Father Christmas by Greg Lake. I believed in Father Greg Lake, which eyes full of tinsel and fire. But my publishers genuinely said that they thought calling it Tinsel and Fire would leave us open to some sort of health and safety risk, and that's a real conversation that we actually had. So I went for Mistletoe and Vinyl, a pun on mistletoe and wine, obviously. So it's an exploration of the mythology and the lore of Christmas #1, and why we are. And for those of you from there, I know you have listeners who aren't British who will be like, "What?" Christmas #1 is the strange phenomena by which Britain gets weirdly obsessed with what single is going to be #1 at Christmas. It has a special place. You don't get a prize or anything, but it's got a special for a long time. It's less so now, but for a long time it had a special resonance. People would take bets on it. They would argue about it at school and in the pub. There would be like it would be front page news. The race for the Christmas #1 was a thing. So I wanted to explore why Britain has such a weird specific relationship with Christmas music, because there are Christmas songs that only we have here that they don't have anywhere else. Like they don't have Shakin' Stevens in America. Like they have Mariah Carey and Gun Crime, right? They don't have Shakin' Stevens.
Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah. They don't have Cliff Richard. They have Elvis Presley, the poor man's Cliff Richard, right? But and then no other country has a Christmas #1. They have a #1. They have a chart, and a lot of them have Christmas, but none of them have united the two into a weird national sport. And I just wanted to work out why. So that's what the book is. I go through the entire history of the British charts, and specifically the British Christmas charts, and why certain songs floated to the top at certain times, why the rules are different at Christmas, because there are so many ridiculous songs that are #1. Sometimes it goes to the biggest pop band, sometimes it goes to something completely unexpected, something completely out of left field. Sometimes it goes to something completely Christmassy, sometimes it goes to something completely utterly not Christmassy, and the normal rules of the chart are completely suspended, and I found that fascinating. And then because like all of my stuff, and because I'm a student of Terry Pratchett, what I realized is there is a story under the story. Like the story of Christmas #1s is actually the story of how music has changed and how we listen to music and consume music has changed, and the kind of music we listen to has changed. And if you kind of step back from that, it's a story about how Britain has changed. And if you look at the chart every single year in the same week for 50 years, you learn a lot about Britain itself, because it's a social history. So I've written a social history of Britain through stupid Christmas songs.
Nice. You've gone and done something important and then draped it in tinsel and disguised it.
That is what I've tried to do. Yeah, that's kind of what all my books have been. Like my show about Terry is that. Like my show about Terry Pratchett is like, on the surface it is the story of Terry Pratchett, but actually it's about the enduring power of storytelling. And my book, The London Boys, about David Bowie and Marc Burrows in the '60s, is on the surface about these two pop stars trying to get famous in the '60s, but actually it's about following their lives to find out about '60s culture. There's always a story under the story, and there's always a social history. And I learned that from Terry Pratchett.
You've been playing with the idea of writing this Christmas #1 book for quite a while, haven't you?
Oh yeah, it's been in my back pocket for absolutely ages. It's when I started writing books, it's the one I wanted to write. I just wanted to. I was waiting for the time to be right. Really, I wanted to find the right publisher for it, because I wanted to come out like somebody who really did music books and specifically knew how to market them and that kind of thing. So yeah, I've had this idea for a while. But what really drove it home, and when I was like, this is definitely a time, is I was at the Latitude Festival last year in 2024. I was doing stand up at the Latitude Festival. I'm telling you that for two reasons. One, because something interesting happens, and two, because I need people to know that I did stand up at the Latitude Festival, and thus am kind of a big deal. Yeah. And they did, and they turned the comedy tent into a club night afterwards, and it goes on all night, and there were all these like 20-year-old kids raving to a night called Club de Fromage that was just like cheesy music, and they were raving to ABBA and Wham and the Backstreet Boys and the Venga Boys and the Beastie Boys and the Beach Boys and the Spice Girls and I guess them. I don't know, they didn't, but they didn't play the 60s blues band Them, but they should have done anyway. And they were playing all this cheesy music, and halfway through the night the DJ drops, because in July, drops Shakin' Stevens' Merry Christmas Everyone, and the place just goes nuts. Like all these 20-year-old kids are just like snow is falling all around us, children playing, having fun, it's the season of love and understanding. And then he dips the fader, and like 2,000 20-year-olds go, Merry Christmas everyone. And I was just like, how do they know this song? This song came out in 1985, and nobody else, like Shakin' Stevens is not an act that has endured in any way. Like he's not made an imprint on popular culture that has lasted apart from that one song. He's not had a hit since then. And I just thought that was really fascinating, and that sort of was what drove me to write it. And it's, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I found myself writing it because I did Magic of Terry Pratchett in Australia at the beginning of the year. I found myself writing it in the Adelaide sunshine, like writing about Wizard and Slade in cafes in like the blistering midsummer of Australia, which was really, really bizarre. So it's been really fun to write.
Obviously, it's been in your back pocket for a long time. During that time, you've, I imagine, learned a lot about all the surrounding stuff just from all the other stuff you've written and read, and all of the surrounding research.
I've been absorbing pop culture for most of my life. So I mean,
Yeah.
I've always paid attention to this. Like I've always paid attention to this. I've always known a lot about music. I've always paid attention to Christmas music. Christmas music is the first music I remember loving. Like when I was like 5 years old, 4 years old in 1985, my parents had an hang on. My parents had an album called I've got it right here, the Christmas album, right? It is it was the first British Christmas we actually had it on tape. It was called the Christmas tape, but it was the first British pop Christmas compilation, and it's got Slade and Wizard and Wham and Band Aid and Elton John and we'll skip Gary Glitter and John and Yoko and all of them, and it was like. And I just remember loving that tape when I like wanting to listen to it all the time, even when it was, because Christmas is the most exciting thing that happens to you when you're little. And then this was the music of that. And it's I think it's the beginning of my understanding that music makes you feel things, and that music is attached, pop songs are attached to a thing. They're attached to a bigger feeling. And I think that's sort of the thing about me that fell in love with the romance of music, of rock and roll, the romance of pop. Starts with those Christmas songs. So I've always known about this stuff, and and then I've been a music journalist for 20 years. So I'm watching the British music, and I used to work in the music industry. I've worked for record labels and stuff. So watching the industry change and watching as we've gone from physical products to downloads to streaming, and how that's changed the music industry. I've seen all that happen, and that it completely is involved with the Christmas number one. Like that's entire. You can't separate those two things from each other. So yeah, it was all kind of swimming around in the back of my head somewhere.
Yeah. While it was swimming there, were there any kind of musical moments, any checkpoints in there that you were particularly anticipating, whether good or bad, writing about?
Oh yeah, I mean the two I was most looking forward to write. The three I was four. The ones I was most looking forward to writing about, right? 1973, because 1973 is the year Christmas number one starts. No one cares about Christmas number one before 1973, and 1973 is Slade and Wizard. And the reason that it starts then is because 1973 is also the first year of a winter of discontent. It's a miserable economic year, and that misery, like miners' strike, gravediggers' strike, the electricity is being turned off every night to save coal because they haven't stockpiled against the miners' strike. That's how Thatcher wins the miners' strike in 84, because they learned the lessons of the 73 one, that the miners' unions would have the government over a barrel because there was no power. Whereas in 84, they'd learned from that and they'd stockpiled coal. So like it's a miserable time. It's a freezing cold winter. The electricity's turned off. People don't have coal for their fires. Like there's talk of turning the telly off over Christmas, apart from on Christmas Day. And then into that, you drop these brilliant, glittery, bauble Christmas songs of Roy Wood and Wizard and Slade, and people just love them because they feel connected to something, and they can't afford much, but they can afford a 7-inch single, and that's the treat you can afford, and it brings a bit of Christmas sparkle, of unproblematic, uncomplicated, not nostalgia, just raucous celebrating Christmas in a party way. You can bring it into your home, buy a little disc. And that year was really interesting. I really wanted to explore that. 1984 is fascinating because 1984 is Band Aid, obviously, but it's also it's another economically awful year, and people buy the Band Aid single, I think, partly to help people, but also partly to feel part of a bigger movement, a bigger part of a moment of society, and that was really fascinating. But that's also the year of Last Christmas by Wham, Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Power of Love, Paul McCartney's Frog Chorus, Queen's Thank God It's Christmas. Like it's a bumper year for Christmas music. There's 3 chapters dedicated to 1984 in the book, because there's so much to talk about, and Band Aid itself is so important culturally. And then the other ones that I think are really interesting. I knew I wanted to talk about Mr. Blobby because that is so fucking weird.
That is a hard
Reading
one to
your-
explain to non-British people, isn't it?
Yeah, explain to them. Like, that is the year that everyone thought Christmas #1 was going to be a big, pink, meaty, spotty monster
Oh, not me.
singing a song that no one really understood. But it wasn't him, because Meatloaf only got to #3, and it was Mr. Blobby that got to #1. See what I did? You see what I did there? No, Mr. Blobby was Mr. Blobby wasn't even a real children's character. It was a character invented for a Saturday tea time celebrity like magazine show called Noel's House Party, where the host, Noel Edmonds, who is an unlikable man with a beard, would dress up as a fake children's character in order to prank celebrities, and he called it Mr. Blobby. It was just this big pink blobby suit, and then for some reason people started to really respond to it, and then it got so popular he ends up releasing a single. And because at Christmas children love, it's a terrible single. It's awful. It's like objectively awful. It's objectively awful in every conceivable way. It's mental, but it's also awful.
Listeners, you really must listen if you haven't.
It defies all categorization, but because children loved it, it gets to #1. So that's fascinating. And then the other one that's really fascinating is 2009, which is when the year that Britain collectively takes a stand against manufactured pop and makes Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name the biggest single of the year, like 17 years after it was first released, as this moment of, because the Simon Cowell and the X Factor had dominated Christmas #1 for 5 years, and this was the moment when, as one, we all went, no, no father.
That's enough of that.
We draw the line here, no father. That's my only Patrick Stewart impression. And and Rage Against the Machine becomes a protest vote that people download in order to stop X Factor getting a #1 single, and that's just so completely fascinating. And that's the one for me that proves the sort of weirdness and the importance of Christmas #1 to people. And the book starts with that. I start with the Rage Against the Machine X Factor chart race, and then rewind to the birth of Christ.
Yeah. Of course. And actually, that's a good point. We do rewind a very long way.
Actually, before the birth, I go before the birth of Christ. I rewind to the Romans. Yeah.
As one does.
Could you tell us briefly about that? Actually, like the
diving into Christmas past.
Yeah. I wanted to. The thing is, in order to tell the story of Christmas #1, you need to tell the story first of Christmas and music, and why Christmas and music are so joined together. And to do that, you have to look at why we have a party in midwinter. And every culture has a party in midwinter, and then the Catholic Church make one of the worst decisions they made, not the worst, but one of the worst. And they like import Christianity to in order to import Christianity, they arbitrarily decide that Jesus' birthday will be celebrated in midwinter in order to attach it to the existing midwinter feasts. Hopefully that would sort of sanctify those feasts and make things more holy and spiritual. What they actually do is they bolt Jesus's birthday to the biggest piss up of the year. And there's all those celebrations. Every culture on earth has this big raucous celebration that has loads of music in it at midwinter, and then Christmas just becomes one of them. And I find that really, really interesting. So you kind of have to go to that, and then the history of Christmas in Britain is a history of riot and party and parties and mischief. And I think that kind of connects to Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby is nothing if not the spirit of riot and rebellion, that matches the Lord of Misrule that medieval courts would have, where they would replace the king with a common for one day, and call him the Lord of Misrule, and he would just like do stuff for the lols and the vibes. And that's why the Puritans tried. There's a link, because Sophie Rhys-Jones, who married Prince Edward, worked for the company that did Mr. Blobby's PR, which is why the press were asking the Queen what they thought of Mr. Blobby in 1993. But that's by the by. So yeah, there's this entire spirit of complete of rebellion and noise and rah in British Christmas that is completely unique, and there's always been, like, the earliest British Christmas song we know of is a drinking song. It's a wassailing song. It ends with the line "Drink, hail, hail to the drink," and that you can draw a direct line from that to Slade singing "Are you hanging up your stockings on the wall?" Like to The Darkness singing "Don't let the bells end." Like it's all these aren't songs that are nostalgic or wistful or sad or religious, especially like even that early Christian Carrel that I mentioned. It's all the religious bits feel like they're just bolted on afterwards after they've talked about food and drink, and it's. So you've got that. So I wanted to establish why music and Christmas are so linked in British culture. And then, so that's the first bit. And then it's where does the chart come from? Because you need a chart before you can have a Christmas number one. So I talk about the development of the chart and how Christmas music was listened to, and how music was a part of Christmas in Britain in the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century before the first chart. And that's chapter one. And then, so I cover about 2,000 years in chapter one, and then chapter two covers like 30 years, and then most of the other chapters cover like one or two.
And in one case, you've got one chapter, three chapters to cover one.
And then it really slows down for 1984, because there's just that was only meant to be one chapter. 1984 was I was like, half of it will be the other stuff, and half of it will be Band-Aid. And then I was like writing it, going, I've nearly done 5,000 words, and I've not got to Band-Aid yet. All right, Band-Aid can be its own chapter, and then it's like I've nearly got to 5,000 words, and I've only done how Band-Aid came about and how it was recorded. I've not yet done the fallout of Band-Aid and how it was and why it was important. So I was like, that's going to have to be its own chapter as well. It's
they are
I
very
just got
good chapters, to be fair. Like,
I nerded out.
Part of the book.
I nerded out so much about this. I just love the fact you can trace the health of British pop music through by just looking at the Christmas chart every year, and you look at somebody and you go, that is a dog shit year. There was nothing there. Like the Christmas number one is kind of out here on its own, but you look at number 2 to 10, and you can see the progression. And like some years are terrible, and some years are then you get to like 1990, 91, 92 are awful, and then you get to 94, 95, 96, and they're amazing. And you just go, oh, pop was in rude health by then. Like the late 70s are rubbish, the early 80s are incredible. It's pop moves in cycles.
Moving towards Christmas present then. What is, if you have one, your personal, like, I've heard this and now it's Christmas song, like I put this on as December 1st and now it's there?
Well, okay. I have got, because I can't knock myself out of Christmassy mood by overindulging. So I kind of microdose a little bit. So I've got staged playlists. So I don't hit
them saved on my Spotify.
Like Christmas stage 1, which is only for the first 2 weeks of December, doesn't involve any of the big guns. Like it's nice to hear them out and about, and I am not a Whamageddon participant. I will embrace Wham if I hear it in the wild, but I don't allow myself the big guns for the first 2 weeks of December. So there are some Christmas albums I love. Emmy the Great and Tim Wheeler from Ash did a really good one about 10 years ago that I really love. Nick Lowe, the great singer-songwriter, new wave singer-songwriter, wrote a great album called Quality Street that I love. Sufjan Stevens, the American slightly folky electronic artist, has done 100 Christmas songs. Jesus. Like there are literally 100 of them. Some of them are about him, and they get progressively weirder, and as his music gets weirder. So there are things like that. There's a song by the Hives and Cyndi Lauper that is one of my favorite ever Christmas songs that nobody ever seems to remember. It really went under the radar, and it's one of the best songs ever. It's incredible. I can't remember I never remember what it's called. I think it's called Christmas Gift or something like that. But it's the Hives and Cyndi Lauper. I got no gifts this year, and I slept with your sister. It's amazing. It's genuinely it's properly amazing. And then Cyndi Lauper's voice just roars. It's so good. So I've got all of those ones are the thing that make me go, oh, it's Christmas now. I'm listening to Low. There's the band Low have got the most depressing Christmas album ever. On the way to Stockholm, it started to snow when you said it was like Christmas, but you were wrong. Amazing lyric. So I let myself have those, and that's when it starts to feel like Christmas. That's when it starts to feel like Christmas is moving in for me. But there's always a point where I get to listen to and enjoy Fairy Tale of New York, and that's always when I go. I am, and then the peak Christmas for me is watching the Muppets. It's watching Muppet Christmas Carol, and that has to be saved for Christmas Eve because I am so completely in the moment when I'm watching the Muppet Christmas Carol. Like that's the year peaks at that point. so I have to work up to it.
That's my Christmas morning watch, to be fair.
What you're listening to is the sound of somebody who had a happy childhood, and I'm really sorry about that.
Oh,
How
no, it's
dare
lovely.
you? No, it's genuinely really
The older I get, the more people I meet who didn't have happy childhoods and don't really like Christmas for that reason.
Oh.
And I always feel a bit guilty about it because I'm like, you know
Oh.
what, my family was really close and we really like Christmas, and Christmas is always really magical. And it's like, you know, we was poor but we was happy. And
We scraped together the cinders for a fire.
I mean, more or less,
Yeah.
but like. I can do Mark's working class Christmas tales of woe, but the point is, it was always really lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so writing about it has been just really lovely for me as well because I just get to I get to both nerd out about music and sit in that feeling.
Yeah.
And there is nothing finer for me. There really isn't.
Oh, that's nice. Has your kind of taste in Christmas music evolved over the years, changed over the years, or has it stayed pretty
I mean,
rooted in that?
I did not. It's only ever been added to. It's stayed more or less as. I mean, those songs that are on that classic 1985 Christmas album are a sort of untouchable for me. They're like a sacred canon.
Yeah.
And they're kind of a sacred canon for everybody because that's the album that establishes all these songs as the ones we listen to every year. Like some of them were really obscure. They had to pad it. Like it was obvious they had all these number ones they could choose from the last 10 years, like starting from Slade onwards. So they've got Slade and they've got Wizard and they've got Band-Aid and they've got Wham and all that sort of stuff. But then they had to pad it out. So they went looking for other stuff. So you've got stuff like A Spaceman Came Traveling by Chris de Burgh, which was a complete obscurity until it was included on that album. And if you're British, you know that song very, very well.
Yeah.
If you're not British, I urge you to listen to A Spaceman Came Traveling by Chris de Burgh and have your mind blown by the weirdest Christmas song ever.
Yeah, yeah. And bear in mind, it is very much a Christmas song here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it includes the lyric, "The stranger spoke, he said, do not fear, I come from a planet a long way from here." And I'm sorry, but that is an incredible Christmas lyric.
Pure Christmas,
But I love all of that. So I still love all of those songs. Chris Rea, Driving Home for Christmas, all those kind of songs that get overplayed. But because they're overplayed, you don't really listen to them anymore.
Yeah.
And actually, they're worth listening to because they're good. Like "Merry Christmas, Everybody" by Slade is an amazing song.
Yeah.
Like it's such a great song and so well constructed, and it's so melodically interesting, and the lyrics are incredible. And so actually all that's happened is my musical taste has just broadened. It's just to include more. You know, I if somebody tells me it's a Christmas song, I will give it a go. I'm very fond of Kylie's new one.
Oh, you are? Have you learnt the dance?
Yes. Hang on. XMAS. Yeah.
S? Is it S? Yeah.
S. It sort of does a rub your tummy, pat your head.
Yeah.
S.
Yeah,
weird.
I feel like
Sorry
it's going to
that
grow
I've
on
not
me.
learned
I
it.
listened to it for the first time today because I saw the news story about the Christmas #1 race, and usually I'd kind of skim over that. I was like, do you know what? Locking in.
I mean, these words are going to come back to haunt me. I don't think it will be. I don't think it. I think the streaming algorithm is too strong.
Yeah.
And it will throw Wham at everybody on Spotify. And you have to be like she's #1 midweeks because you've got all of the pre-orders of physical sales. But Wham is so ubiquitous. On Spotify that's going to push it. I think I might be wrong, and I hope I am. I genuinely hope I am because I would love a proper new pop Christmas #1.
Yeah,
like it's been so long since we've had a genuine pop Christmas #1, a good pop star, an actual pop star who's written a proper Christmas song. Like, and it's not for charity, and it's not a spoof, and it's not a YouTuber or a TikToker or something, and it's just a proper pop star who's done a song that's actually about Christmas that actually gets to #1 at Christmas. That hasn't happened since Band-Aid 20 in 2004, I guess.
is it really? God.
And then in terms of, I mean, it depends if you count the Lad Baby Elton John's Ed Sheeran single, which I don't.
Not really. No.
And then it depends if you count Stay Another Day by E17 as a Christmas song or not, which it kind of is and kind of isn't. But if you don't count that, you've got to go back to Cliff Richard in 1990 for the last proper Christmas song about Christmas that was Christmas #1 and was by a solo pop star.
That is a depressing statistic. Yeah. Come on, Kylie.
Yeah. So Kylie and Cliff, kindred spirits.
Yeah.
in so
And
many
also,
ways.
the average reading speed while reading this book has been hobbled because, as you say, like you don't listen to these songs properly over the years, and I've had to pause and listen to so many songs that
Yeah.
I thought I knew properly.
Some of them, you're welcome, and some of them, I am so sorry.
I think most of them, some of them I have. I'll be honest, I have not re-listened to Blobby.
No, I mean, watch the video, just skim through it because it is so completely batshit
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's worth watching just for that because it is so weird, and the fact that it exists is so strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of them utterly terrible. A lot of those songs. No one needs to go and listen to Bob the Builder. You certainly don't need to listen to Westlife's cover of ABBA's "I Had a Dream."
Yeah, that was
Ever.
weird.
Yeah, that was weird. I
I've
remember that
forgotten
one.
about that.
I mean, it's not weird. It's just rubbish. It's just
Weird that happened almost, yeah.
it's a sappy, slushy boy band doing a sappy, slushy song. I love ABBA, but I genuinely don't like "I Have a Dream" very much.
No, fair enough.
That's fair.
I think it's substandard ABBA, and and that's a double A side with "Seasons in the Sun," which is a brilliant song, although it's hauntingly sad. And Westlife just smack all of the emotion out of it. Anyway, don't listen to those, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah. Blobby and
Blobby comes highly recommended, obviously.
Blobby and Slade.
Did you get any sort of new appreciation for songs you'd kind of written off in the past as you were working on this?
Do you know what? Yes. And the one that surprised me the most, and I say in the book that it's the most controversial opinion in the book, is Millennium Prayer by Cliff Richard is a really good song. It's a really good record. I mean, Americans don't even know who Cliff Richard is. Cliff Richard was the British Elvis. He was introduced as the British Elvis in 1956, I think, and he opening his career with a brilliant single called "Move It," and then he's endured in the public consciousness ever since. He in the mid-60s he discovered Jesus, and he's been basically a Jesus guy since then. He's incredibly religious, and he had a couple of Christmas number ones in the late 80s and the early 90s. And in the end of 1999, he released a cover of the Lord's Prayer, sang to the theme of "Auld Lang Syne," as his attempt to get Christmas number one for a third time. And it sounds like an incredibly naff idea, and it is naff. It is sort of an excruciating idea. But if you listen to it on headphones, it's quite a stirring record. Like he sounds like he means it, and that comes across. And it does have this big build and swell to it that is like it is. I mean, I don't want to go and back to listen to it very often, but it's actually quite a nice achievement. And what I like about it is that he starts off as the British Elvis. That's what he was known as. And Millennium Prayer sounds like a mid-70s Elvis record. It sounds like like a gospel Elvis song. Elvis could have done that record, and I quite like that. It's a full circle moment for him. I also feel a bit sorry for Cliff because that didn't get to number one. It was beaten by West. Well, it got to number one. It didn't get to Christmas number one. Westlife knocked it off. And if it had been Christmas number one, it meant that he would have equaled the Beatles record for the most Christmas number ones. And had it stayed at number one for 1 week afterwards, which it probably would have done because the Christmas number one tends to be the first number one of the next year, he would have had a number one record in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And he didn't get it. And I feel a bit bad for him for that. So that's the one. That's the one I actually got some appreciation for, that's the most controversial opinion I have. No one believes me, but genuinely, it's a really stirring record. Like he meant it, man, and that's nice. There's something quite nice about listening to somebody mean it.
That was one I had absolutely no urge to revisit while reading the book, but now hearing you talk about it, I am almost curious.
I'm convinced again. Yeah.
I did grow up in a very anti-Cliff Richard household, to be fair, which I think has tainted it for me.
Is that like a Catholic?
Yeah, well, I grew up in it.
No, it was I don't know, my dad decided somehow as a Geordie that meant he hated Cliff Richard, and we all just went along with it.
Is this because he's from the south? Is that basically all it was?
I think it was annoying posh boy.
Right. I mean, I come from a Cliff agnostic house. Like we simply had no opinion on Cliff in our house. I think my parents thought he was a little bit like naff and embarrassing because he is, and that's basically that. And my parents were young people, and that is pretty much like where it began and ended. But yeah. So, and it's only later like you kind of go, actually, Cliff's career is quite interesting. He was a matinee idol. There's a brilliant film he made called Espresso Bongo, which is about the kind of the coffee culture of mid-50s rock and roll in London. It's genuinely a really good film. It's a musical, but there's a version of it that's not a musical where they've edited out the songs. It's better. Watch that one. And it's good. And Cliff's really good. Cliff's really good in it, and it's actually a really good film about sort of the culture of 50s pop music. And he's actually quite an interesting artist, and the fact that he's had this incredible longevity, and he did have number ones in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and every time you write him off, he comes back, and more religious than ever before. But
finding God in the 60s keeps you alive through the rock and roll era, doesn't it?
Apparently it does. I mean, he's been very healthy. There was a hearty attempt to get him cancelled a few years ago, but he got caught up in the post Jimmy Savile stuff. But sailed through those waters, and apparently it was clean as a whistle, and it was all okay. Yeah. So phew.
Massive backfire on the people who kind of
Although it did take him off the radar for a long time. But anyway, I don't wish to talk any more about Cliff Richard.
No, sorry.
I don't want to paint myself as an actual Cliff fan.
I was about to say, are we wrapping up to another book here?
So we won't talk anymore. But speaking of Cliff Richard, no. But speaking of songs that didn't get the number one, are there any other ones that you have a very strong, like, they were robbed feeling about?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the one that was properly robbed was Fairy Tale of New York, which only got to number 2.
Isn't that weird?
There is a caveat to this. Because it got beaten by the Pet Shop Boys, covering "Always on My Mind," the Elvis song, and for pretty obvious reasons. They were in the middle of their imperial phase. And they were covering an Elvis song, so it had really broad appeal. Yeah. And then the Pogues were on a really small label, and that's kind of a song that kind of came out of nowhere. And they weren't a major artist, but that song kind of they didn't have the distribution and they didn't have the marketing. Getting to number 2 was impressive enough. But that's the one that's endured. That's the one that comes back. And I genuinely think it's not just one of the best Christmas songs. I think it's one of the best songs of all time. That said, you can't talk about Fairy Tale of New York and not have the caveat that it has a homophobic slur in the middle. Yeah. And it's a homophobic slur that is sang in character. The person is saying it in character. It's not maliciously meant. It's a period piece. It's essentially dialogue, but it's totally valid to feel uncomfortable if you hear it. And Shane McGowan, who's the singer in the Pogues, and Kirsty MacColl, who also sang on that song, both said it's fine if that makes you feel uncomfortable. We get it. We're not gonna fight the corner of that. It's a totally legitimate thing to feel, and they both change that word sometimes when they sang it. Yeah. So given that, you have to mention that, but given that the only thing that's problematic, the only thing that's wrong in that otherwise completely perfect masterpiece of a song is that it has a homophobic slur in it. The fact that it was beaten to Christmas number 1 by one of the gayest bands of all time is quite satisfying.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'll take that. Yeah. The other one that was really robbed is The Darkness. Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End in 2003, beaten to number 1 by Gary Jules's cover of Tears for Fears' Mad World, which I still to this day can't explain, because it did not have, the Darkness had everything on their side. Everyone thought The Darkness was going to do it, but there was a proper Christmas song, and it was like, it's going to be a rock and roll Christmas song at number 1. It's going to be brilliant. A British band with a rock and roll Christmas song doing a Christmas number 1. And actually what happens is this incredibly bleak cover of an already quite bleak song. And people just like, oh no, it's Christmas, let's wallow in misery. Which we do. We do like to wallow in misery at Christmas. There are a lot of miserable Christmas number 1. So and that year was apparently a miserable Christmas year. Yeah. So I always think that one was robbed.
I was just saying to Joe earlier, that's the one I listen to when I need to get festive.
In the festive.
Yeah.
The Darkness.
I'm not in the mood.
The Darkness, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. That would be really perverted otherwise, yeah.
The one thing that's quite surprising is that Darkness song. Because every year now, because of the way the Spotify algorithm works, the UK chart is, if you look at the chart in Christmas week, it'll be 3/4 old Christmas songs. Like, all of the new songs are pushed out of the chart, almost all of them, and there'll be songs that are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old charting, and Andy Williams and Bing Crosby will be there, and so will everyone from Slade to more recent stuff like Leona Lewis. But The Darkness, the last few years, hasn't been in the top 40. So I think that song's kind of ran its course a little bit. It's not sort of in the cultural conversation in the way that I thought it would have lasted in, which I feel bad about. They've tried again this year. They've covered Cliff's. To go back to Cliff, they've covered Cliff's Mistletoe and Wine. It's fine. It's fine. It's a bit, I think, a little bit too surprisingly close to the original. I'd like them to have done a bit more with it. But
really
no,
like
they
Justin Hawkins. I want him to succeed. So I feel like
it's
there's got to be a
fine.
way to nudge the don't let the bells end back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been there, and the fact they called it "Don't Let the Bells End" is
Yeah.
just mwah, magnificent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the added bit of ridiculous Britishness in it.
You wouldn't get that in the US. Do you really?
They just don't do knob jokes in the same way in the US.
They really don't do knob jokes. Although thinking about it, there is Kendrick Lamar's A minor gag
Yeah,
that he literally did at the Super Bowl. So occasionally you
that's
get
very
one that will
true.
go for it.
So yeah, so jumping into Christmas Future, you're talking about the way streaming's changed the charts, and you did a really great analysis of how like you reality TV and then downloads and then streaming, what this all did to the music industry and especially the Christmas number one. Do you have any feelings about what the future of the Christmas number one might be? Do you think it is gone for good, or do you think there's a comeback?
So I thought until today that it was a zombie now, and that it would take a hell of a disruptor to kind of come in and have. Because the thing about, I mean, we talk a lot about stories as Terry Pratchett fans, and because like the core moral of Terry's books are the power of stories. The Christmas number one battles that are interesting are the ones that have a story attached to them, the ones that mean something, the ones that that endure and we remember are the ones where X Factor versus Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, there's a story there. There's something to actually care about. People want this to happen. Take that versus Mr. Blobby. People had a dog in the fight. You know, people actually cared about, and they voted. Like it wasn't just buying; it was vote. The record they chose was a vote they placed. It was almost like that. It was approached on that level. And that I don't think has happened because now the music industry, the chart is based on streaming. It means you don't have people don't have the same investment in the music that they're playing in terms of getting it to a chart place. Like if you go back to the era of downloads or physical singles, in order to purchase a song, you had to hand over some money, and in return, whether digitally or physically, you were given a thing, and that doesn't really happen anymore. And there's a lot less investment. You're not emotionally invested in that song in the same way, in getting it in its chart place. And that means you don't care about the chart place. You just like the song and you'll play the song, and your emotional investment is entirely in the music itself. Yeah. It's not in the performance of the music in the outside world. Whereas if you go back 15 years, you would have a financial stake in a piece of music, and then thus would be interested in what it was doing, and that's gone because of the way we consume albums. Has been a physical media revival, and people do buy albums. They do buy vinyl. CDs are making a revival even, but not as singles. Singles are still like, you still tend to listen to downloads, and if you're younger, that's your only way of listening to songs a lot of the time, and a lot of the time you don't even choose what you're going to listen to. You put on a playlist and Spotify chooses for you. And that means that the songs that record companies are pressuring their artists into are tailored to the Spotify algorithm, and that brings a certain kind of uniformity, and it means that you're less likely to get like curveballs and oddballs and disruptors, and that's what you need to make Christmas number one interesting. You need people to come out of nowhere and go, what the hell, where did this come from? No one saw this coming. Things like some Winifred School Choir in 1980 which is a children's choir singing a song about their grandma, and get Terry Wogan, the DJ, plays it on his radio show because he likes it and it's charming, and it sells 75,000 copies by lunchtime, and just like it completely messes with the music industry model. It's a disruptor. The Rage Against the Machine thing was a disruptor. Even Lad Baby, who had the Christmas number one for 5 years in a row with dreadful charity records about sausage rolls that had no musical value whatsoever and no one actually listened to more than once. People bought them because they were for charity, and that was it. But even that comes out of nowhere. The model isn't attached to the normal music industry model. I'd like to see another disruptor come out of nowhere and do it properly. I feel like if Kylie does it this year, then it's happened, and I'm really excited. I'm really glad, although it will mean that all the things I've been saying on stage and in radio interviews for the last month are wrong.
But what a nice thing to be wrong about.
Yeah, but I will be I will be bitter, but I'll also be really delighted about it because it'll prove it can still be done. and that'll be nice, and that will have another Christmas song to add to our collection that actually does get listened to every year and can join that canon of music. And that gets if you look at the 70s through to the mid 90s, we add a song to that canon every couple of years, and then after the mid 90s, hardly any. And it would be nice to get another one.
Really trying to mentally stretch the metaphor and work out what the Dead Sea Scrolls of the Christmas.
In the sense of near mythological missing.
Yeah. And possibly only treated as canon by one sect of the.
What are the Yeah, what are the controversial holy texts?
Yeah.
I mean, some people would consider "Stay Another Day" by E17 to not be a canon Christmas song.
Yeah.
And some people will consider the Spice Girls Christmas #1s to not be canon Christmas songs. And your tolerance may vary on what you consider, and then it gets tedious, and then we get into the diehard arguments, which I refuse to have. So but it gets a bit like that. But it's a Christmas song if you think it's a Christmas song, as far as I'm concerned. Because
that's a good
because culture change, the context of culture changes as culture itself changes. So things can be recontextualized, and the story around them can change. The narrative around them changes, and something that wasn't a Christmas song can become a Christmas song, and that's absolutely true. In the same way that KFC is a Christmas food in Japan, that's exactly the same. So it's exactly the same sort of thing. It becomes recontext. There's nothing innately Christmassy about KFC, but it became a Japanese tradition to eat KFC on Christmas Day. Thus, if you are Japanese, KFC is Christmassy. The context can change.
Yeah, lovely.
I like that. Quick listener question: favorite books that you've read this year?
Queen McDonnell's "Ring the Bells." I thought
like that.
I genuinely loved that. I've done a lot of I've got to plug my partner Melanie's book about Marie Antoinette, and I hand on heart, it's so good, and she's a historian. She writes, and I read it going, this is fun, this is interesting, oh la 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 la, this is frothy, and then it gets to the bit where the French Revolution starts, and I couldn't put it down, and I read the second half of the book in a single day, and I never do that. I literally couldn't put it down. It's really, really good. I'm trying to think what else I read that's new and really enjoyed, but I've gone predictably blank.
That's fair. That's allowed.
But there you go. I've given you 2.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
We can both second the Queen recommendation, and I'm only a chapter or so into Melanie's book, but so far really enjoying it, so I'm seconding that one too. And you can't stop me.
Excellent. Good. Nor would I. It would get me into trouble.
Yes, I mean, bizarre thing to do at this stage.
I'm currently enjoying a fairly obscure book that is genuinely brilliant, and I don't even know. It's called Going Postal. That's what I'm currently reading. It's pretty good.
It's by that Terry Pratchett fellow. We've heard
one of those genre fiction writers, isn't it?
I mean, it's fantasy. It's not for everybody. It is not for everybody. It's fantasy. It's about the post office, and that seems a bit. That's what I'm reading in a minute. So.
Yeah. About a post office, but on a space turtle.
Because apparently, I am a walking cliche, and I still don't get bored of rereading Discworld.
Dreadful, isn't it? Yeah, I really thought I would after the last 5 years, and
nope.
There's
6 years now. We missed the anniversary again.
I have a specific reason for reading it, but I'll wait. But that'll be. Well, I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Okay.
But you can't tell our listeners about that. What can you tell our listeners about what you're doing next? Please plug things.
Oh, this is why I'm going to tell you why I'm reading Going Postal.
Good, because I'm so impatient.
I'm just waiting for it. So things coming up. So I'm doing a tour of my show, the Britpop. When's this episode coming out?
When I edit
week,
it, so in the next few days. Yeah.
Well, if you happen to be listening to this before December the 18th, which is probably unlikely, bear in mind it's December the 15th, but I'm playing in Camden I'm doing the last launch event for the Christmas book in Camden at the Dublin Castle, where I put a band together, and we're doing an hour of Christmas bangers, and I'm playing bass, and 3/4 of my old band, the Men That Are Not Playing for Nothing, have reformed in order to do a gig, and I'll also do some stuff on stage, and we've got special guests, and it's going to be brilliant. And and I'm really enjoying learning all of these old Christmas songs. And I get to play Wizard and Slade and stuff, and it's really fun. So that's the next thing I'm doing. And I start the tour of my show, the Britpop Hour, which is what I did at the Edinburgh Fringe this year, which is a stand-up comedy show about 90s indie music, and that is on tour around the country starting in March. And I'm basically going everywhere as long as you don't live in an extreme part of the country or Wales. I don't know why I'm not going to Wales. It's not my fault, all right? I go where I'm told. Like my agent books them, I turn up. We try and go everywhere. If I'm not going to somewhere near you, it's because no one near there was interested in booking me, or no one near there had an available venue at the right time for the right price. So do not write letters complaining that I hate your part of the country unless you're Welsh, in which case fair enough.
Yeah.
I do
Welsh listeners, send in your complaints to us and we'll pass them on.
I genuinely love Wales. I've never met a Welsh person I don't like. I'm a Manic Street Preachers obsessive. I've had some incredible gigs in Wales. I don't know why I don't sell very well in Wales. But anyway, so I'm doing my Britpop show.
They love me back?
I know. I practically fetishize the Welsh, and maybe that's the reason. But I am. Although one of my best friends, Vic Slayton, a brilliant comedian, is Welsh. But anyway, I'm on tour. Some of my best friends are Welsh. I don't learn the language, obviously they're not integrated, but I'm anyway. So I'm on tour doing my show about Britpop. It is very good. It got great reviews at the Fringe, apart from one bad one. It got 9 4 and 5 star reviews, no 3-star reviews, and 1 2-star review. I can't tell you what any of the 4 and 5 star reviews said. I can quote the 2-star review verbatim, but that's just how it goes. Please come and see that. And it's basically, I think I'm doing 20 tour dates. I'm up in as far north as Glasgow and Edinburgh, as far south as Devon and Bristol, and we've not got a London show yet, but we will have. There'll be an
obscure part of the world. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to find a cool venue that feels Britpoppy. But anyway, so that's the next thing, and I'm really proud of that show, and I can't wait to get back into it and start thinking about that. I do have 2 books coming out next year. The first one will be out in the summer, and its title is a Terry Pratchett Reader's Guide, Volume 1, 1962 to 1999. That'll be followed by a Terry Pratchett Reader's Guide, Volume 2, 2000 to 2016.
Wow.
Which is, so basically, people kept asking me to write another book about Terry, and I kept going. I literally wrote his life story. There is not there is not a sequel to that book. I don't want to be the one that breaks it to you, but the story very much stops. Like, it comes to an abrupt end, but actually, the more I started thinking about it, the more I was like, actually, because one thing the feedback I got for the show I did and for the book, people always go, "It was great, but why didn't you mention insert favorite book here more?" And the book literally does mention every single thing Terry ever wrote, but some of them only in passing. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I can do a deep dive book where I go into actual depth. So it's basically an essay on everything Terry ever wrote. So every chapter is a book. The first chapter is his early short stories. The second chapter is his newspapers, is his journalism short stories. The third chapter is his journalism non-fiction, and then it goes into the novels. And then it's every single novel in turn. Originally, it was going to be one book, and then I realised that's absurd because he wrote a lot of books. And it's picking out the themes and how his voice evolves and how each book sits in his biography. And there's some nerdy reference spotting as well, because you've got to have some of that of just going, this joke, this is a reference to this, this joke is about this. But mostly it's more kind of, this is our first hint of this kind of grand thesis of the power of belief and stories coming out, and how his voice evolves and how he grows as a writer, and the stuff the stuff that emerges as it goes along. And it's it is for the Pratchett's. This is not a book for the Pratchett curious. Like my the stand-up show is for the Pratchett curious. You can come to that show having never read a Terry Pratchett, having never heard of Terry Pratchett, and get it and enjoy it. This is a book for people who love those books, and I think some of the opinions I have will be disagreed with violently. But I also think that people will. I mean, I'm basically doing what you did as the podcast as a book, which meant I had to not go back and listen to your podcasts.
Oh,
I
sad.
thought about maybe I should go back and because when I was doing each book, I was like, maybe I should go back and listen to the Tuition Make You Fret and the other podcasts and see what they're saying. And then I thought, no, I don't want to contaminate it. I don't with your
Yeah, we can listen to
with
the
You'll
other
end up
podcasts.
putting
Yeah.
other people's thoughts.
I didn't want to feel like I'd end up ripping off your ideas and stuff, and so I wanted it to be purely what I think of it. And so I've revisited every book. The first volume is done. It's with the publishers. It's currently being edited. The second volume I'm part way through.
Very exciting. So
so cool.
it's highly likely we're probably going to have you back on the podcast next year.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, so you don't mind coming back to that's pretty.
Yeah.
You can't get much more in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, and then we can talk about all 60 Terry Pratchett novels.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. But it has been really interesting because there's stuff like I wrote 5,000 words on Fifth Elephant. The book ends with Fifth Elephant.
Yeah.
But then also it's like I'm writing about the unadulterated cat. There's a chapter on the unadulterated cat. There's a chapter on Science of Discworld. Really like all these things these little forgotten corners, like looking at Terry's non-fiction journalism and I'm going through all of the of articles he wrote, and some of this stuff is stuff that is not widely available. I write about some of the short stories he wrote that have never been republished.
Yeah.
There are still about 20 fictional short stories that for newspapers. And I don't know the reasoning behind that. I think why some were chosen, like some have been chosen because obviously you all know this, but Terry wrote a bunch, about 150 short stories for children in the 60s and 70s. And most of them have been republished in collections, and including a bunch that were discovered last year. And we all know about that, blah, blah, blah. But there are still a handful that haven't been done, and some of them, interestingly, are they're not as kind of fun romps. They're not as silly as some of the others. There's some that are a little bit more fairy tale and a little bit more kind of, they feel like Alan Garner or something like, or Susan Cooper or something. They're a bit more kind of sort of children's fantasy without as many jokes, as opposed to those kind of zany Roald Dahl kind of ones that are the ones that kind of like the witch's vacuum cleaner and stuff. So there are some really interesting, like the family that lived in the dustbin is one, and there's some really there's some ones that I don't know why they've not been published. So I've covered a lot of that sort, and then loads of his non-fiction, like the stuff that was in the Tales from Roundworld book that I gave up, that I sold at my shows, and more than that, like his book reviews. He wrote book reviews every week for the Bath Evening Chronicle in the 70s, so you can really get a lot of what he believes in and what he listens to and what he likes and what he cares about from the book reviews and the silly columns and stuff, and you can see the voice evolving. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and then when occasionally I will be talking about another book later on, I'll link it back to that stuff. So it's all about kind of finding the sort of meta links between the metatextual links. Which sounds very poncy, but it's also got all my usual stuff of footnotes and attempts to troll Rob Wilkins and
the important stuff.
It's a new addition to the.
So that's
that's
what that's what I've been working on. So those books will be hopefully done. Well, I'm hopefully will have finished the other one by the time I go on tour. So the idea is that the first volume comes out for the summer, and I'll be doing a launch event for it at the Discworld convention, which will be if anyone is going to the UK Discworld convention in Hinckley, Leicestershire, breaking a cardinal rule that I've had for ages, which is I will never go back to Hinckley because I'm from Hinckley.
So I was like, what on earth is Hinckley? That right?
it's because I spent 22 years there, and I don't ever want to, and I try not to visit. But I'm going back to Seoul, and then hopefully the second volume will be out for Christmas. And I'm trying to think of fun ways of doing special editions, and I might do a slipcase where you buy a slipcase that can have both volumes in, which will be nice.
I like that.
That'd be cool.
And things like that. And I'm going to do some I'm going to do a bonus book for it. You know, like my other books, I've done bonus. Like if you buy a special edition, you get a bonus like fanzine thing. And what I thought I'd do is I've still not covered everything. I've only covered the books and the short stories. And I was like, so the bonus fanzine will have the From the Discworld album and the video games and the
Letters to Beekeepers Monthly.
Letters to Beekeepers Monthly, yeah. And just that's all. So I'm gonna there'll be special edition stuff, and I'll try and find more cool extra value added items, which I just like doing. I like finding reasons to charge people more money.
Oh yeah. I'm at the nerding out part for that too. Yeah.
I can sense certain listeners of ours ears pricking up at this.
Well, no, It is basically like you do want it's the same reason that the Pratchett estate does glorious special editions of stuff. It's because you want to have, because there are people who will pay more to have something really nice. And frankly, everyone's a winner if you do that. As long as you make it worth them buying, then you get to have a little bit more profit, and they get to have something lovely. And so that's something I always try and do.
That's all very exciting.
To that. But Britpop first.
Britpop first. I've got to remember how that show goes.
Do.
Because I've not thought about it. I last did it mid-September, and I've not thought about it since. And I've really I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I genuinely don't remember any of that show now. It's just gone out of my head. There's a bit where I teach people to dance like Jarvis Cocker. There's a bit where I play a Union Jack guitar and then talk about nationalism because it's me. It ends with a song and dance routine, and I've got to try and find out how it all goes. But we'll see. So it's going to be a busy year, and hopefully one in which I can avoid having to get a proper job again.
Yay! And dear listeners, we'll link to all of the relevant things down below and where you can find stuff and buy tickets and pre-order and do all the things.
Yeah.
It's all on my website, marcburrows.co.uk.
Excellent. That's where we'll link to. Right. Shit. Sorry. Can you hear that? I've got the weird roof noises again. I'll be back in a sec.
What's that?
I don't think my headphones.
You can edit this bit out, can't you?
It's a glingling noise. Is that my headphones?
I don't know. It might be the violent pigeons.
Go look at the input.
Does she have violent pigeons? She
does have violent pigeons. It's kind of endemic to Suffolk. You've got the normal pigeons, the violent pigeons.
That explains a lot about Joanna's temperament.
It does, yeah. Raised by violent pigeons.
Oh, I heard that one.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is just the headphone.
Hello, Francine and Marc.
Hogfather.
I've never seen the Hogfather before.
Hello.
Hogfather. Oh wow! Oh,
happy Hogswatch!
You look different this year.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I always look like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thinner.
Where's Joanna?
You missed her again? She's just gone to investigate a noise.
I think she's gone to tackle pigeons again, Hogfather. Sorry.
To take this quite personally. Right, we won't let that spoil things. Marc, have you been a good boy this year?
No, emphatically not. I have tried to be a good boy, Hogfather. I really have.
Well, that's close enough. What would you like for Hogswatch, Marc?
I would like Pulp's different class reissue on 12-inch and a pony.
Satsuma it is. Excellent. Now,
I'll take it.
Unfortunately, Francine,
the gift of vitamin C.
Again, no scurvy for Christmas this year. Vitamin C for all. Now, sadly, this is a flying visit. As I said, Francine, the pigs do get both reckless and restless. So I'm afraid I won't be able to stay for Joanna.
Is that where the pigeons have quietened down? Oh, Jesus.
I think, I should probably go and deal with that. Yeah. But a merry Hogswatch and blessings to all, and to all a good something.
Bye.
I'm so pleased he doubled back. He was sad to have missed you the first time.
I don't know what the fuck was going on with those pigeons.
No, did they quieten down now?
They seem to have calmed. Right, you
good.
can. Sorry, you can edit that chunk. Where I
Yeah,
had to
no, I'll
run
just
off
cut the
out,
whole
can't
thing.
you?
Yeah.
Excellent, amazing. Right. Did I miss something?
No,
Did you
no,
say
no,
something fun?
nothing, nothing. It was
No,
just,
no, no, nothing happened.
Mark
No,
being rude
we were
about the
talking
Welsh again.
pigeons. Yeah, we were discussing pigeons, the Welsh, all the big issues,
Of course.
and indeed
Right,
the
fair
big
enough.
issue.
Yeah.
Which is in itself quite a big issue. Right. Well, I think that's been our Hogswatch Extravaganza, as best as we can make it. In case we haven't mentioned it enough, dear listeners, do check out Mistletoe and Vinyl by Marvellous Marc
Hold up a
Burrows.
non-blurry copy. There we go.
Can I just
doing the best I can.
inject with a bit of a self pat on the back? The
Yeah.
number one bestseller, Mistletoe and Vinyl. Thank you.
Number one bestseller, Mistletoe and
If I can
Vinyl.
be
Footnote.
bothered, there's like
This is-
glitter around it in the edit.
No, Amazon Music chart 2 days. But it counts. It counts. It actually counts. It was number one. It was
Oh, is
number
it
one
not
on the
still?
Amazon
Is it?
Music chart. No, it's
It was
number
as
two
of
now.
this morning. Ah, well.
No, it's number 2
It'll
now.
be back.
I'm hoping.
It'll be back.
I hope so.
Dear listeners, remember you can always go and buy the ebook right before Christmas and help us get Mark's book to Christmas number one.
Oh my God! Please do that.
Old-fashioned
Yes, but do
campaign.
it. Like buy it on, but not. But you have to do it on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Buy it on
yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
Eve or Christmas Day, and
Okay,
then
okay.
because then if it can be number one on Christmas Day, I will have a book about Christmas number ones that is in itself a Christmas number one, and that would be
Narrative
incredible.
symmetry.
And it's only 99p on Kindle, so like that's
Do it,
cutting my own,
listeners.
that's cutting my own throat, or Jeff Bezos is anyway.
And if anyone's throat's going to get anyway, before I get
Joanna.
sued, check out Queeve's book, Ring the Bells, as well.
Which is brilliant.
Which is
It's
excellent.
pretty good.
Quick self-promo, but also please check out American Teen Dramas from Sunnydale to Riverdale, and the next book will have a shorter name, I promise. Also, quick shout out to a couple of other friends of the pod. Congrats, PD Doling, on your new novel, Closure May Never Come, and we're going to link to where to get that down below.
Very
I
excited.
keep meaning to order it, and I keep forgetting to. PD, I'm gonna buy your book. I owe you that. It will happen. I promise.
And also shout out lovely Ella Mella and her all the books of Earth, queer fantasy / speculative fiction anthology that I'm very much looking forward to reading, and a link to where to get that will be down below as well. Right, I think that's all the Hogswatch Extravaganzing done. Is it?
I'm extravaganza out.
Yeah.
Excellent. Quick shout out, as this is probably our last episode of the year, unless we get really bored between Christmas and New Year's. We are going on our...
Pretty inspired, Joanna, I think we put it.
Yep, inspired between Christmas and New Year's. We're going on a little hiatus and coming back in the spring because we both feel an overwhelming need to hibernate. What we're coming back with, I can't tell you exactly. I can tell you over the next year there'll be more Pratchett revisits, classics revisits, new book reviews, possibly even a trip to a Mervyn Peake written weird castle. If I can
God help
convince-
us all.
God help us.
I
everyone.
am Gorman aghast.
Aha, very good.
Until we return in the spring, of course, we'll be available in all the usual places. You can join our Discord, there's a link down below. Follow us on Instagram at The True Show Make You Fret, on BlueSky at Make You Fret Pod, on Facebook at The True Show Make You Fret. Join our subreddit r/TTSMYF. Email us your thoughts, queries, castles, snacks, and embossed prawn crackers. The True Show Make You Fret Pod at gmail.com. And if you want to support us financially, go to patreon.com/. The True Show Make You Fret, and exchange your hard-earned pennies for all sorts of bonus nonsense. And until next year, dear listeners, Mark, would you do the honours?
Don't let us detain you.
Oh, that was a really good one.
Oh, yeah. He's got a
Nice.
good voice for it.
I'm reading Going Postal at the moment, right?
I've got
I've got him in my head.